Greetings and welcome to this lesson on spreadsheet management. Spreadsheet management involves using a software to organize, analyze, and manipulate data in a tabular form. A spreadsheet is a software application that allows users to input data into a grid of rows and columns, perform calculations, create charts, and analyze information. Spreadsheets are essential tools for tasks such as budgeting, data analysis, and financial planning. Spreadsheet software provides a range of functionalities, including mathematical functions, data sorting and filtering, as well as advanced features like pivot tables and macros. Examples of spreadsheet software include Microsoft Excel, Google Sheets, and Apple Numbers. In this lesson, we are going to discuss some techniques that you can use to develop basic skills in spreadsheet management that is essential to you as an administrative assistant. Let's get started. This is a spreadsheet. In my case, I'm using Microsoft Excel. So the first technique is for you to familiarize yourself with the interface of Excel. That is going to be the same thing with all applications. When you open any application, take note, there are tools or commands that is grouped together and placed somewhere. In some applications, you'll be at the top, in some applications to the right, in some to the left, in some to the bottom, in some just anywhere. But take note, it will be somewhere, and there will be an area where you enter your content. So always look for these issues. So begin by exploring the main features of the Excel interface, including the ribbon. You see the ribbon is here. We spoke about the ribbon in word processing. The formula bar. This is the formula bar. And the worksheet tabs. So there's a worksheet tab. I can add worksheets there. You also have to learn about rows, columns, and cells. And you focus on how cells are identified. So in Excel, we call a cell by giving the letter and the number that it intersects. So when I click on a cell here, you go to the name box, you see how that cell is identified. It says F9. That is to tell you that it is the intersection of F and 9 that gives you that cell. This is very important. So the ribbon is a toolbar that spans across the top of Excel window, and it's divided into tabs: insert, formulas, data, and more. And each tab contains groups of related commands, such as basic formatting options in the home tab or calculation functions in the formulas tab. Then we have the formula bar. It is located below the ribbon, and the formula bar displays the content of the currently selected cell, and it's where you can view, enter, or edit data and formulas. Then we have the worksheet tabs, which is at the bottom of the Excel window. You will find worksheet tabs, which let you switch between different sheets within the same workbook. Each sheet is where your data is stored and analyzed. Then we have cell identification, and Excel is built around a grid of rows, the numbers, and the columns, which are the letters. So with the intersection of these forming cells, so the cell F9 means where row 9 intersects with column F. The next technique is for you to master data entry in the types. You need to get comfortable with entering different data types, such as text, numbers, dates, and others. And you also need to know how Excel treats each of these. Like for text, there are alphanumeric data like names or labels, which Excel treats as non-calculable. We have numbers, and Excel automatically recognizes numeric data and allows calculations. The next technique is for you to be able to use formulas and functions. You need to learn how to create basic formulas using mathematical operators like addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division, and always start with an equal to sign. For example, equal to A1 plus A2. We'll add the values in cell A1 and A2. So if we do that, if we put something in A1 like 6 and something in A2 like 9, it's going to give us 15 where we put that formula. So you should be able to know how to create simple basic formulas using these operators. You need also to explore common built-in functions like the sum that adds numbers together, average that calculates the mean of a group of numbers, the if function that performs logical tests. So Excel allows you to replicate formulas across cells, both vertically and horizontally, saving time and reducing errors. For instance, if you enter a formula in one cell, you can drag the field handle. The field handle, if we go to this cell in which we have this formula, you have the field handle. This is the field handle. So I can drag this field handle downwards. So it replicates this formula downwards. If I click on this other cell here and I go to my formula bar, you see that this is the formula that is found in the cell F16, which is not the formula we entered. It means by virtue of dragging it down, it replicated the formula changed, and the values changed. So you need to get around with this and know how to do this. The fourth technique is for you to master basic formatting and the use of charts. So you need to understand how to format your data for better presentation. So how to format cells, you need to learn how to adjust font styles, change number formats, and you also need to apply colors, borders, or alignment to cells. Then you need to know how to use charts and graphs. You need to know how to use charts and graphs. You need to explore, you can explore creating simple charts like bar graphs or pie charts to visualize your data. For instance, you can select a range of data and use the insert tab, and then you select the chart that you want to select and you just click. You see, the chart comes out clearly without any difficulty. Then the fifth and last technique is for you to understand cell references. So understand cell references. You need to learn the difference between relative, absolute, and mixed cell references. So a relative reference changes when a formula is copied to another location, like the example we saw, while an absolute reference does not change. If you choose a formula here to be equal to, we use the same formula we used, A1 plus A2, that is a relative reference that will replicate downwards. But to make this absolute, I'm going to insert a mark. We call it the dollar mark. It makes it absolute. It's no longer relative. If I replicate downwards, you see the answer will remain 15, 15, 15. So when I come to cell G16, realize that my formula remains what I had in cell G9, which is not the same with the cell F9, because the formula, when once copied from F9 to F16, it changes to A8 plus A9. That is the difference between a relative reference and an absolute reference. And you can also mix the two. if I come to my formula here, by using the $A and $1, it means I've made A, the variable A and the variable 1, both of them absolute. So if I remove the $sign on 1 and leave it, then I've made only the A absolute, but 1 is now relative. So if I copy this one downwards, it will change. It will change because you see A1 has changed to A8, but A2 has not changed because 2 remains absolute. Okay, when you play around with all of this, you're going to get used to it, and you will know how to use it, and you need to master it. So effectively managing your spreadsheet is very important, and it's a basic skill that we think is essential for administrative assistants. Thank you for being a part of this other lesson, and see you in our next lesson.